The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track, and ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
He'll come right out of the shower with the towel on. And
with a towel on?
I've seen enough of him.
You've seen him naked? What are you?
No, I've seen outlines
Okay.
of what I don't need to see.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
This is the plaintiff, Gabrielle Cisneros. She says the defendant's her godsister, who she grew up with, and they shared an apartment together. Well, things didn't work out because the defendant's boyfriend practically lived there, pranced around in see-through underwear, and she moved out. Now the defendant owes her money, refuses to pay, and that's why she's here suing her for the $1,010 she's owed. This is the defendant, Paige. She says the plaintiff's a control freak who tried to rule her life once she moved in. The woman was always miserable and cranky, and she moved out without any notice. This whole situation's very sad, and she's known her since she was a baby, but owe her money? No way. She's accused of letting a godsister down. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,300 for a real estate broker's fee.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Gabrielle Cisneros, you are suing Paige. You've asked to be referred to only by your first name for the return of a security deposit that you say she is inappropriately holding, plus the value of some items she won't return. What happened?
Basically, we moved in together around
How did you two know
December.
each other?
We're godsisters. Our mothers were friends and worked together, and her mother chose my mother to bless Paige.
To be the godmother?
Yes.
Okay. So you've known each other since you were babies?
Yes.
Have you been good friends all that time?
Yeah.
Well, this is tragic.
Unfortunately.
Go on.
I spoke to her before moving in, saying I feel uncomfortable. I wanted to know about her and her boyfriend situation, if he's gonna be there all the time, if he's gonna be there some of the time, because I don't feel like it's fair for me to live in a place where I'm paying half the rent and her boyfriend's living there rent free.
Did she say how many days he was there?
She said that he isn't there. He's only there maybe maximum 3 times a week.
Okay.
After finding out and living there, he's there basically 6 days a week.
Okay.
And I spoke to her again for the second time about it. She said she'll tell him to not come around more often. I had to speak to her a third time.
I can see how that would be annoying whether you loved him or not, but did you also not get along with him, or?
It's just, I felt like it was inappropriate. He was more comfortable in my own apartment than I was in this apartment.
Okay.
He would walk around with no shirt on. He would walk around, he would come out the shower where I'm here. There'll be times where he's there and she's not even there.
Okay.
And he has a key and everything, doesn't pay any bills, doesn't contribute anything.
When you said he'd come right out of the shower, what were you gonna say?
He'll come right out of the shower with the towel on. And
with a towel on?
I've seen enough of him.
You've seen him naked? What are you?
No, I've seen outlines
Okay.
of what I don't need to see.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right. So finally you've had it and you say to her, look, I've really got to go.
Yeah, I told her.
She was living there first. You moved in with her, right?
Yes, she was there before.
And did you give her a security deposit?
Yes, I
How
gave
much?
her security and first month rent, $1,500.
How long did you live there?
Until March, December to
how
March.
many months?
December, January, February, March, 4 months.
All right. When do you tell her that you're leaving?
I told her March 30th that I'm planning on leaving, that I'm looking for a place.
And then what happens?
She said, she basically told me, she figured as much, and when do I plan on leaving? I said, I don't know. I will let you know. I will communicate with you, and I will even find you
this is
another
by text,
roommate.
because God forbid
Yes.
you speak to each other as God sisters. Go on.
Yeah, I will even find the roommate for you. And she said, no, she doesn't want a roommate, and she'll be looking for a place for herself.
Okay.
The next day, I tell her I'm gonna pay for the rent myself, like
For
my
April.
part.
You're going to pay your portion of the rent in April to who?
To the landlord.
You wanted to pay directly to the landlord.
Yes.
Why?
I just wanted to pay directly to the landlord because the month before, in February, she put me in a hole because she bought unnecessary things. I had to pay, and I paid it for her for that, and she put me in a hole because of that.
Oh, that's the other 260 that you're suing
Yes,
for.
that's that part of the 260.
Wait, just tell me why the landlord instead of her. It's not like you pay less if you pay the landlord. I don't understand what you're saying.
Because I wanted
you
to
didn't
just
trust
go
her,
straight.
but why?
I just wanted to go straight to the landlord just because she put me in a hole, and I felt like she was basically moving around her money so that I can pay.
I mean, if you're
her
leaving
bills.
anyway, it's not like.
No, I wasn't planning on leaving in April. I was gonna take my time and leave whenever I so choose to.
All right, so you tell her I want to pay the landlord directly, and what does she say?
She didn't like it. She said, no, that's not unnecessary. And I was just like, I don't understand, why is it unnecessary?
Well, because it's not your agreement. Your agreement was that you would be paying her rent, so that's why she feels it's unnecessary. So in any event, what happens then?
And then we got into this whole argument about everything within that's going on in the apartment. And I told her, I would just say, and she asked me, what would you like me to do? And I said, you know what? I want you to tell your boyfriend to pay some bills because he's living there rent free. I don't have, I work all the time. And I just felt like it was unfair. So I told her after that, I was like, you know what? This is not working out. I'll move out immediately.
And what day was that you said that to her?
March 31st.
Okay. When do you move out?
I moved out April 5th because when I came home that night, I was gonna stay all of the month of April. When I came home that night, there was nothing in the apartment. I walked in.
Wait, what day did you come home and there was nothing in the apartment?
March 31st, that same day that we had that argument.
Okay, what happened?
So basically, my boyfriend was coming over, but I lived there previously, and I've always had roommates in my family.
Did she really have a conversation with you beforehand and tell you about?
I had told her that he was there often. She said, I don't mind as long as he's not in the way. And we discussed, I said,
so she never said, listen, I don't want him there every single day. I don't think that's fair?
No.
Okay, so at some point she decides, though, it's not working for her. She talks to you about it a couple of times while she's living
She talked to me
there.
once.
Well, whatever. And then it didn't change, so she decided this isn't working for me.
It did change, and her attitude didn't change towards the situation. So I didn't deem it worth it because
You people are killing me. How old are you?
23 and she's 21.
And you guys have known each other your entire lives. You know how rare that is? That you have a friend like that you can consider a sister? I mean, when I asked, what's your relationship? It wasn't we're friends, we're lifelong friends. Your answer was, she's my god sister. That's how you guys have referred to each other all the time. Whose idea was it to move in together? Bad idea.
I told her to stay with her mother because she has the luxury of having her mother here. She doesn't get along with her mother, so she said she wanted to move out.
She's 21, she wanted to move out. But
So
I mean,
that's fine, but...
It is unbelievable to me that you guys would let $750 come in between you like this. Why didn't you give her back her security deposit? Because your feeling was what?
She still has property in my building. I can't even rent out the room.
What property does she still have in your house?
She has a vanity set, a nightstand, her Uggs, and she has some of her food there.
Some of her food?
Yeah.
So if her food needs to pay rent? All right,
What if she
show
steals
me
me
a
for food?
picture of the vanity so I can see how much room that's taking up. And did you take out all the furniture?
Yes, I did take the furniture.
Okay, but why?
Because I didn't want to go through the fight where I'm fighting with, who's going to take what? Who's going to take this? Because I knew at the end of the day, she was going to go back to her
when you
mother's
take
house.
out all the furniture that she rented the place with, her argument now becomes, why should I have to pay April rent? She took out all the furniture. I had nowhere to sit. If you had not pulled out all the furniture to be spiteful, if you had just tried to calm the situation instead of escalating it, and she stayed till April 5th, I'd be making her pay rent. She doesn't have to give you notice. You're in the city of New York. In the city of New York, unlike everywhere else on the planet, you don't have to give notice on a month-to-month. Apparently, the government, the legislators, have deemed it that it's so easy to get a renter in New York that a renter could just say on the 31st at midnight, see ya, and hang up, and then that's it. You're done. So she doesn't have to give you 30 days notice. Why do you still have stuff there?
That's garbage.
Well, you don't get to leave your garbage behind.
Well, I was
Let me
going
see
to,
that.
but-
You guys are just unbelievable. What's this $260 for miscellaneous items for the apartment? What's that?
The stuff that she took, the utensils,
This
the
is it?
cleaning supplies, everything.
Okay, you would be entitled not to rent for something like this. You would be entitled to the fee to remove it because she doesn't get to leave junk behind. But it's not $750 to remove that. I could remove that with one finger. All right, go on. What?
Just stuff for the bathroom supplies.
Why would you not
kitchen
have used those supplies? You lived there for 3 months. Like, how is it somebody's going to pay you back for supplies that were communal that you guys used up during the time that you lived there? What do you mean?
Because there was nothing.
Because there was still
in
some
the
left in the bottle? Should I try to figure out how much shampoo was in the bottle?
Well, I wasn't petty like that.
But you want me to be petty like that?
I'm just saying.
You're being petty like that now when you add that $260 for communal items that you guys are buying for the apartment.
Yeah, because I came home March 31st expecting everything to be
Except
where
for
it's
that
at.
you're being petty because you're suing for money that you spent in February, not in March 31st. You're both petty. This could have been a beautiful thing, a friendship that lasted cradle to grave. How many people can say that?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, if you have two roommates and one of them gets a boyfriend or a girlfriend, are they allowed to have that person over almost every night without paying additional money or splitting the rent in a third rather than half?
Yes.
Because?
Because that person is already paying for their...
That's true, but now there are three people in the room.
Yeah, I think they should split it equally.
Well, but equally is 50-50. If a girlfriend or boyfriend starts staying over, is it a third, or is it still 50-50 with the two people? That's the math problem for you.
I think it's not in the contract, so they can't stay there because that's not what the person signed up for. The person signed up for 2 people, not 3.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
You have a counterclaim against her for $1,300 for a real estate broker. Do tell.
Okay. So moving into that apartment, Gabby did get unemployed for a short amount of time.
I don't want to hear it. I want to hear what the $1,300 is for. I'm done hearing the history of this case.
Because I had to move out on such short notice, and I feel like I put so much work into the apartment because even though she was unemployed, I did all the shopping. I took Ubers home just to bring stuff home right after work. So I would come home. I did 4 or 5 trips.
Did you? I've heard like a couple of
apartment.
references to why each of you are trying to justify why you didn't hang out with each other more. You know, you're saying, well, she would hang out elsewhere all the time because she goes out with a lot of friends and then she wouldn't come home, and then she's like, well, her boyfriend would come home and then she'd run right to her boyfriend, so we didn't get to spend time together, and then you're like disappointed.
Her boyfriend would have wanted her to come out with me anyway.
That's not necessarily
Well, you're
true.
like a little
if I
couple of
gave
babies.
him
You guys work out that little part of it in the hallway. So you want her to pay your real estate broker for a new apartment?
Yeah, because
Don't be ridiculous. She doesn't even have to give you notice. So no. Okay, so your counterclaim, that was easy.
It was worth it.
All right, and then let's talk about the security deposit, the miscellaneous items that were used in the apartment. That's not happening. And the $750, I'm going to allow you to keep $100 for removal of the stuff that she left behind because she's not allowed to do that. And as far as the other $650, I'm ordering you to pay back the $650. Good luck to you, ladies.
So the plaintiff does prevail, gets her money back. Paige, let me just ask you something very simple. The judge thinks both of you are just being petty. Are you still friends? Can you be friends? Is it all over? What?
I mean, I'm not really interested in a further friendship, honestly.
Why not?
Because
you've known her how many years?
But I feel like once you play with my shelter, my money, or my family, you're dead to me, so that's fine.
How do you feel about this? What's your opinion? You don't want to comment on it. So as far as you're concerned, there's no hope for a friendship anymore?
I'm not
Really?
interested. She's very disrespectful, miserable, and lonely, so
Wow,
that's
you
her
do-
business.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. You must sign some documents with Officer McIntosh. Now here comes Ms. Cisneros. How do you feel about this? Are you sorry that this relationship has gone so sour so quick?
No, it is what it is.
It is what it is. You don't care, huh?
Why should I? It's
Well,
in the
she's
past
been your
now.
friend for your whole life. It's over?
It is what it is.
What a shame. Do you think you're petty? The judge thinks you're very, very petty, the two of you.
There was petty circumstances, but I think if she wanted to actually work on it, then it wouldn't have happened.
What a shame. What a shame. Harvey, what do you think?
You know, Doug, it's as simple as this. You have to set ground rules when you move in with somebody. This whole thing could have been avoided. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
This is the plaintiff, Amber Kalustian. She says she bought a truck from the defendant, and the guy assured her the transmission was in perfect shape. 15 minutes after she had it, the thing broke down on the side of the road. She called the defendant. He told her he'd meet her at the mechanic with a full refund, and the guy never showed up. She's a single mom who can't afford to fix the money truck. The defendant promised her money back, and she's here suing for it in the amount of $2,230. This is the defendant, Dwayne Ferriulo. He says this crazy woman delivered the truck back to his house, left it in his driveway, and took the keys. His driveway was being held hostage because it blocked in other cars for 21 days until he could get it towed. The plaintiff had no right to have the truck placed in his driveway, and she should have to pay for what she did. He's accused of being a truck trickster. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,575 for storage and towing charges.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff bought a truck from the defendant. It broke down 15 minutes after she got it. The defendant says she screwed up his business royally. It's the case of I can't keep on trucking.
Okay, Ms. Kalustian, you're suing Mr. Ferriolo for $2,230, the amount you paid him for a Chevy Trailblazer that you want returned to you, plus your tow costs and wasted time. You're counterclaiming against her 21 days of storage, loss of use of your driveway, and nuisance value. Okay, tell me what happened here.
Dwayne had posted a ad on Craigslist for a Trailblazer, and we had been in contact via text message. So on January 1st, I went down to go check it out and took it for a test drive. And during the test drive, it felt like the transmission was slipping a little bit. So I brought it back to his house and said, I love the truck. I can't, unfortunately, get it because I can't afford to buy something that's going to break down right away.
This is a 2002 Chevy Trailblazer?
Correct.
Okay.
And
How many miles did it have?
150.
Okay.
Was advertised. So we actually talked for a couple hours, and he continued to tell me that, it wasn't the transmission, call my mechanic. So I did. I called my mechanic, and he said, it sounds like it, but, that's your risk. I can look at it first thing on Monday morning.
Why don't you just run in another direction with you?
Well, because honestly,
Is it a pretty color?
No, I really like the truck, and I thought it was, a good deal with the low miles on it. So he had agreed, he wrote a contract with me saying that if anything major was to happen to it, he would refund me the money.
Okay, let me see it. Let me see exactly what the contract says.
Yep.
Just the word
That's
major?
the actual
if anything
original
major
contract.
happens, who's going to decide what major is? Transmission is not shifting on its own, but all gears are working. If cost of repair determined to be mechanical and repair cost is over $1,000, okay, I will take the truck back or pay reasonable difference in repair. If I take the truck back, a refund will be issued. Return of the truck in the same condition, physically, mechanical. Okay, all right. So it's pretty spelled out there.
So we went through with the contract.
And you paid how much for it?
I paid $1,980 total.
Okay.
So I was starting to drive it home. I got 15 miles down the road, and I was on the highway, and the whole truck lost all its power. So I pulled it over to the side of the road. I called him immediately and told him I broke down. He was asking what was wrong with it. I said, I have no idea. It lost all its power. So I told him I called AAA, and he said, okay, well, I'll come meet you there. So he came, he actually got there before AAA. He looked at it, couldn't figure out what was wrong with it, thought it was really weird. Told me to have AAA tow it to his mechanic.
Okay.
And he would meet me there with my refund. Because at that point, I wasn't
You
even
had
able to
just
get
bought
home.
the car 15 miles ago.
Right. So the tow truck driver came, brought it to his mechanic, who nobody was there. Nobody was expecting the car. At that point, it was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. Or no, I'm sorry, it was like 7. But this was New Year's Day, so.
Yeah, why would anybody think anybody was going to be there?
And Dwayne didn't show up there. He wasn't answering the phone. I have all my phone records of me calling him while we were there with the tow truck.
How many times did you call him?
16 times.
Right.
Because I didn't know what to do, and the tow truck driver was like, well, I can't do, where do you want me to leave it? So his house was only like 4 miles from the mechanic, so I said, well, we'll bring it back to his house. So we went to his house. I'm still trying to call him. I called the police. They weren't able to help because it is a civil matter. Went and knocked on the door. His girlfriend answered, and she was just saying that he's not going to show up. She has no idea.
Did she say where he was?
She didn't really say. She did say there was a family emergency with his grandmother or grandfather. I don't really remember who it was, but he wasn't going to show up with the money.
So what did you do with the car?
So I left it right in his driveway.
Okay.
And I persisted to call him, and I persisted to the following days try to make an agreement, like, I'll bring you the keys back, I just need my money back.
Right. And what happened in the following days?
He sent me links on the laws of Connecticut that once there's a sale that I'm screwed out of my money, and...
Let me hear from you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. She came to look at the vehicle. It was told to her in advance that the transmission was not shifting on its own, and while she was trying to make her decision, I've done some research, and that's a common problem with those trucks. It's a $50, $60 part plus an hour labor to put it in. And the warranty was based on if it was not if it was something that was more of a major problem, then we would deal with it at that point, either, if it was a major repair. She paid over $1,000 less than the fair purchase.
Did you ever what happened that day? Why didn't you show up at the place?
I did show up. I went to where the vehicle had the problem. I couldn't figure out what it was. While I was there, my phone fell out of my pocket when I was looking under the truck and trying on the side of the highway at night, trying to determine what the problem might be. The AAA driver did come, and we asked him to bring it to my mechanic. I went home, and then I went straight to the mechanic. I was sitting there for about 30 minutes waiting for her. I couldn't call her because my phone was on the side of the highway, the phone that she had the number for. Then I got a call that my grandfather passed away.
How'd you get a call?
I have 2 phones.
Why do you have 2 phones?
I just have 2 phones. I have 2 separate lines. One's an old phone I had, and then I got a new contract under a different company, and I still had a contract left on it, so I just had 2.
Why didn't you just call her with the other phone you had?
I didn't have her number.
And his girlfriend was on the phone with him.
Come on, man, why did you go home first?
I went home to go get some money. I was going to refund her money. She was going to
Well, then the next day, why didn't you refund her money?
Because at that point, she blocked my driveway, and I have pictures.
Blocked your driveway. She brought you the car back, and it was in front of your driveway. That's fine. But if you're going to refund her money, there won't be a problem, right?
There's a fluid spill that I couldn't tell where it was from. I wanted the keys to see if it was from the truck or the tow truck. She told me it started pouring out of the truck.
Where's the truck right now?
The truck was blocking my driveway for 21 days. I finally had to have it towed.
Whose name is the truck under?
It was still under the name of the person I purchased it from.
How can you even jump title then? How can you even sell the truck that you don't own the title to?
Transfer of ownership, on the title, the assignment of ownership.
You told me a very lengthy
Hold on, don't talk to him directly.
So his defense is, well, maybe I had a duty to pay you back, but you blocked my driveway and hurt my business. Is that a defense?
No.
No. You seem kind of weak on that one. What do you say?
If you owe money, you owe money, so you have to pay it.
Is it a defense if she says, oh, you screwed up my business because you towed it and blocked the driveway?
No, not a defense.
I think it's that simple, going inside the courtroom.
Did he give you the title?
I have the title. I've never bought a used car, so I didn't really understand everything. But it wasn't
I see
until
the title?
Yeah, after that I'm like, what am I going to be able to do with this? It wasn't even in his name.
Did you ever take that truck to be seen by a mechanic to be able to show me, look, Judge, the problem is under 1,000?
Thank you. I wasn't able to. I did not have
You
the
could tow it there,
keys.
right? Thank you, sir.
I have all our text messages where I tried several times to get access to the keys to find out.
Let me see the text message. From your phone, I can see that she's texting you for a solid 45 minutes. Please call me back. Don't know where to put the truck. Hello? Wow, really? I can see all that. Then the next day, so I'm trying to get in touch with you. Call me back. All I need is my money, and we can call it a day. Otherwise, my uncle is a state cop, and we can go that route. He finally texts you back at, about 7 o'clock at night on January 2nd. I just got my phone back. It was on the side of 15. That's the name of the road?
Yes.
I did not have your phone number. I was at Budget. That's the name of the repair place. 7:15 to 7:35. We know that's not true because I see that you're texting him during that time. So if you're both there, you're seeing each other. I had a death in the family at 7:35 and had to be there for my family. Why were you not at Budget? Why is your truck blocking my driveway? And as far as threats, save them. When I get home tomorrow, I expect your truck to be out of my driveway. He sends you a text saying on January 3rd, which is just a few days later, options I am comfortable with at the moment. Number one, I will come pick up a key from you and have the truck diagnosed to see what the issue is as far as it not starting. 2, I will have the Trailblazer towed to your mechanic. 3, my last and most unappealing option is to call the police to have the truck towed and impounded, which will accrue additional expenses for whoever is determined to be the owner. Please be clear to your attorney so you are correctly informed that I agreed to refund or to pay a reasonable difference on the issue related to the shifting. No other warranty was written, expressed, or extended. I looked up, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry we're in this situation. Okay, well, my attorney advised me not to take these options and file paperwork. I will offer one last time for you to refund me in full. That's just regarding the tow fees, gas. Let me tell you something. If this car was registered in your name and you had offered her, look, I'll tow it to your mechanic so we can see what's wrong with it, and if it's over $1,000, I'll come pick up the key from you so we can take it to my mechanic and we can tow it right to my mechanic, I would be with you on this. But you have a second and totally other additional problem, which is that you're jumping title. Daily Motors sold it to Primetime. And then what I need is proof that Primetime sold it to you and you didn't steal it. Is that what you're saying this is? Why wasn't this signed by Primetime?
That's the way the
then it's jumping title. You're not giving her a clean title. For that reason alone, the lady deserves her money back because you didn't give her a clean title. You can't do that. You're causing her problems with registering the car. Where did the car end up again?
The car got towed by a tow company. I called the company that was closer to her.
I mean, there's value to the truck no matter what. Why would you get rid of it and just kind of...
Because she was refusing to take it, and I had no way of moving it.
I know, but how are you? Well, you do have a way of moving it, Sweet Pete. You could, you do. Like she'll give you the key as soon as you give her the money. Can you prove you have $100 in tow costs? And you're not getting gas and time wasted.
That's
fine. You bought yourself a real pickle when you knew that there was a problem with this thing.
Well, it was definitely a very valuable lesson learned.
I thought you had AAA. Why were you charged for the tow?
Because I only have so many miles that AAA covers. It's a basic membership. I think it covers the first 5.
I'm ordering you to return the $1,980 plus the $100 in tow costs. On your counterclaim against her for $25 a day of it blocking you, I think it was nervy of her to leave it your house. I think it was more nervy of you to get rid of it like that. It's what puts us in the position that we're in today. I am ruling against you on your counterclaim. Verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff does indeed prevail. Dennis, do you feel guilty at all for what she had to go through?
No, I made every attempt to try and fix the problem, to try and fix the vehicle, to have it towed to her. She was being unreasonable. All she wanted was her money back, and there was no two ways about it. The only warranty I gave was for one part of the vehicle, not for the whole vehicle.
Well, it certainly sounds like you did not do right by her. It's the way it came off in court. And obviously you lost big time.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Well,
you must sign some documents outside. Thank you very much for being here. Now, here comes the plaintiff, Ms. Kalustian. How do you feel about this?
Good.
You feel good?
I do.
You're smiling? Finally?
Yeah.
Did you learn anything through all of this?
Not to purchase a vehicle through Craigslist.
Okay, that's one way.
Yes.
Good enough. All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank
Sorry
you.
you had to go through all of this.
I'm glad it's done.
That
Thank you.
way. Harvey?
You know, Doug, everybody thinks that either you get a warranty or you don't. The fact is, even if somebody isn't offering a warranty, you can always try and negotiate one. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
This is the plaintiff, Michael DiMatteo. He says he hired the inept defendant to repair a leak in his roof, and the hack botched the job. That's right, his roof still leaks. The defendant stopped taking his calls, and now his ceiling is destroyed, and it's all the defendant's fault. He's suing the louse here and now for the $1,775. He's now out. This is the defendant, Dean Williams. He says he fixed an ice barrier on the plaintiff's house by removing the siding. This guy's beef is with the people who did his roof, not him. He did everything he was hired to do. The plaintiff's a hothead who's trying to pin the blame on him, but he's got the wrong guy here today in court. That's for sure. He's accused of failing to plug a leak.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff hired the defendant to fix a leak in his room and says he did a bad job. But the defendant says he did the job. It's the case of taking a bad leak.
Michael DiMatteo, you are suing Dean Williams and his roofing company, which you've requested not to mention by name, and we will respect that, for $1,775 for the repair of the leak and a new ceiling, which you say is as a result of his faulty work. Tell me what happened.
Well, my ceiling in the sunroom was leaking.
Okay, describe your sunroom to me.
It's 9 by 12, and it's off of the living room.
All right, what kind of roofing do you have on top?
Normal roofing.
No, that is not normal. What kind of roofing does he have?
He has asphalt shingles on top.
Asphalt shingle, okay. And the leak was right in the center?
No, it was on the edge where the roof of the sunroof hit the main house. That's where the leak was.
Okay, so it's right where the juncture is. Correct. All right, so you call him and he comes, and what is it you see and what is it you do?
He shows me the inside of the house and shows me where it was leaking. I propose to take off the couple rows of siding above the roof.
Okay.
And put an ice and water barrier over top of the flashing of the roof.
So what you put the water barrier on would be this part here.
Yep.
And then would any of it be this part here where the flashing is?
No, just
is flashing the right word for this part, the joint?
Yeah.
So he does this on what day?
December 18th.
All right, and when do you first have an inkling that it didn't work or that something?
Well, the first rainstorm that we had light rain sometime in December, after the 25th. I had a slight drip.
So did you call him?
I called him.
All right.
He said he'd come out and take a look at it and see what he could do.
When did you call him?
First week in January.
Do you have a record of calling him?
No, I don't.
So when you call him in the beginning of January, you do you connect with him, and he says he'll come out and look at it. Does he?
He doesn't come out.
All right, and what happens for you?
I have no idea. I left him a number of messages because, if you recall, during that time frame, we had potential for a lot of heavy rain. So I left.
I don't recall because I live in Miami, Florida.
Right. I'll tell you.
However, we also had a lot of rain.
Right.
Go ahead.
He finally gets back to me because I don't want to say I threatened him, but I said, we got heavy rain coming, and if you can't fix it, let me know.
Right, that's not a threat. What did you threaten? I'll take you to court? I know what a threat sounds like.
Well,
just say
I told him, I said, look, either get the job done. If not, I hire somebody else, excuse me, and I'll take you to small claims.
Okay.
Basically, he never shows up. And we've had another heavy rain, and the roof, the ceiling now is starting to give a little. You see it, and we have pictures.
And by now it's when?
Near February, end of January, early part of February.
Okay, what am I looking at here? That's the damaged drywall, but that's also damage from before, right? You didn't have the drywall fixed.
No, but...
Am I correct?
Correct.
Right.
And you could see the bucket there. And you could see the date was after he did the job.
Clearly. Okay. Did he ever come back, by the way?
No,
Okay.
never.
Did you talk to him or call him, or you got sick of it?
We had a discussion. I'm not fixing it. Go see the guy who put the original roof on. I said, listen, don't bother. I'm going to hire someone else, and I'll see you in court. And that's the last time we spoke.
Did you hire someone else?
No.
Why not?
I got sick of it. I went out on the roof and did it.
Why don't you get sick a little sooner?
Well, you know what?
What do you mean?
If
you have the capacity and the know-how to do it, why didn't you just do it?
I have the capacity to do major work. But at my age, my wife doesn't like me getting up on roofs.
Oh, she must like you.
But let me tell you something.
I can't wait to get my husband to go up and put Christmas lights on.
But you know what, Judge? I was on the roof doing the work. Basically, it took me 2 hours. There was a section he missed under the window. And that's where I re-corked it or whatever you want to do.
What did you really do? Just caulk?
I put flashing up.
Where did you? Show me pictures of what you did. Do you have it?
No. All I know
Why
is
are you
that
suing for an additional $1,455?
because the ceiling, I figured I'd get the material, and that was for the material only, and I do the ceiling.
Hold on a second. On the theory that what? Your ceiling was additionally damaged thanks to his negligent repair.
Correct.
So show me a picture of the difference in damage that is worth $1,455.
Well, let me explain it to you.
No, don't explain anything else. You've explained it to me. Show me the picture.
Let me
prove it.
Judge,
That's the part you got to prove.
Who takes pictures before they hire somebody to do work? You anticipate that the individual is going to do the job right. Well, you're a judge.
Maybe that's why.
I trust people.
I actually, you know what I am? I'm the daughter of George Million. That's what I am. I was born distrusting everyone. So he says he smacked a bunch of caulking and solved his problem.
I didn't see the problem. What we did was what I thought was what the problem was.
Well, how about like this
Well, why
part?
don't you go out and fix it?
You better find your off button and press it. I mean it. Why don't, when you have a client who's telling you over and over again and hawking you and calling you and telling you, why aren't you responding?
I am responding. I have phone records here to show that I called him back to the phone
By
calls.
responding, I mean go to the place.
Well, it got cold and it got rained. I'm not going to go over there and rip off the siding and stuff in the rain. Again, it's going to...
Are you communicating that to him? Because I don't think you are. Are you actually saying, it's too cold, today's
No,
not
I
a
did
good
not
day,
say
I'll do
that.
it tomorrow? Were you busy with other work?
I did have work, yes, and then it got cold and then I went on vacation.
Okay. When did you do the repair yourself, quote unquote?
Probably about a week ago.
When did you file the lawsuit?
February 25th.
Okay, he filed the lawsuit against you on February 25th. That's a lot of time between December 18th and February 25th for you to get back there and attend to the issue and try to see what it is you could do to fix it.
After the second time he threatened me with taking me to court, at that time, there was no more talking to him. I was getting frustrated as well, and I didn't want to do it.
And when was that?
When was that? It was the end of January.
How long were you in Mexico?
I was only gone for a week. But
But then wait a second. If you're only gone for a week, then where's all that time before you leave that you could fix it?
it was cold and it snowed and it rained.
But you're doing other work, right?
No, I wasn't doing
You're not a dancer. You're doing other roofs.
That's
So
definitely
what'd you do? You did nothing all of January?
Most of January, I did nothing.
So does the contractor have a duty to at least go over and look at the customer's complaint?
Yes, he has the right to go back and look at the job.
Does he have a duty to look at it?
Yes, he has a duty.
You think so? Does he have a duty, or can you just say, hey, dude, I did the job, I'm done?
Yeah, he has a duty because he got paid to do it, so he should at least go see what's wrong.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Then you could have placed phone calls because you were free.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Here's how I feel about it. You did a job and the job didn't work. And the job may have just needed a little more attention.
And I was going to go back.
No. There's no, you need to stop.
Okay.
There's no more, I'm willing to go back. When I see a guy who runs to court the next day, I'm with you. You were willing to go back, he didn't give you time. But the repair was December 18th, and the lawsuit's not even filed until February 25th. That's a long time for you to go back where you're telling me, well, it rained, it was cold, I didn't call him. That's just too long. I am ruling in favor of the plaintiff, not for the amount he's suing for, because he can't prove to me that there's magically $1,700, $1,400 that you have to pay for because you didn't go back. You're completely unable to show me how whatever negligence he exhibited, that cost a difference of $1,455 since you have no pictures of anything beforehand, and that is the essence of what you're suing on. All right? And that's the reason why you're not getting that sum. But I am ordering you to repay the $300 verdict for the plaintiff.
Mr. Williams, step over here. Didn't go too well for you today, did it?
Well, I didn't get to speak as much as I wanted to speak.
What would you have said had you had the opportunity?
The leak was there prior to me being there, and I don't warranty my repair work.
Why not? Why not?
Because it's not a job that I did originally. I didn't do the roof originally. So the roofer should have done that, came back to do it originally roof.
So you're surprised you lost here in court today?
Kind of, yes.
I mean, does this happen often for you?
No, never been to court, never been sued before.
Well, welcome to court. Why'd you bring your friend? He didn't have anything to do with this, did he?
Just the moral support, just somebody, to stand behind me, that's all.
Make you feel better?
Yeah.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
You have some documents to sign outside?
Okay.
Go right ahead. Well, Mr. Mateo, how are you? You were trying to point out something to the judge before she issued her verdict. I think it was what you were talking about here at the end. What have you learned about trusting people from this experience?
Not to trust anybody. The judge doesn't trust anybody. She takes pictures before she has any work done. I've never done that. Usually when I hire a contractor, I'm assuming they're going to come out and fix it. And if they have a problem, they'll correct it.
Well, that's what you said.
That isn't what happened.
Obviously, this is a tough experience for you.
The other thing is, the judge said, I can't get any compensation for the ceiling.
That's her decision,
Well, yeah, I understand that.
Right. Listen,
I understand
thank you very much. I wish I could help you, but that's it. Tough experience today. You have some documents to sign. Thank you. Now, let's see what Harvey thinks about this.
Okay, we talk about this a lot. You're crazy if you hire somebody and you pay them all of it up front before they come over and do the job. You gotta leave it dangling a little bit so that they have an incentive to come over and do the job right. Maybe 50% to me is the max you should pay. You shouldn't pay any more. You do not want to disincentivize somebody from doing it right.